Welcome back, everybody. I'm back tonight with a major update on the PPP program running out of funding. Or did it run out of funding? That's the biggest question that's on everybody's mind as they're blowing up my Instagram and my YouTube channel right now asking, did the program truly run out of funding? Because if you go out to a fintech right now, you're finding that you can no longer get a new application started. So I gained some insider information from my contacts at the SBA, and they gave me some advice and guidance on where to direct viewers to go today if they wish to get a PPP loan still today, a new loan. So get yourself caught up on this video. Share this with everybody that you know that's in the PPP program, whether they've been funded or not funded, if they're going after their draw number 2. Share this video with everybody that you know that's a gig worker, small business owner who is still seeking PPP funding. Let's get you all caught up. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Edward Bilder. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. I want to get into discussing the PPP program and the facts that are supporting this exhausted fund, okay? Because anybody out there who is tracking PPP, like channels like myself and some of the other big YouTube channels out there that track PPP funding, we're all scratching our heads, talking to each other behind the scenes saying what is going on, okay? Because we don't truly believe that it's out of funding, okay? Now, I feel like it's going to be a 2-video day. I'm probably going to have to come back on here later today to report out some news on EIDL programs. So stay tuned for a video later today and check back with me, okay? But this video is going to focus on PPP funding and whether or not we have funding available and some insider information. So I track a lot of data on this channel. So I'm going to share with you some of the data that I track. We're going to take a look at how much funding that I believe should still be in the program. And last, I'm going to give you that insider information. Straight from the SBA, where you can go if you still wish to get a PPP fund, a new fund today, knowing that if you went to a fintech, you're not going to be able to get this done. So if you go to a fintech right now and you try to do this, they're going to tell you that they are no longer accepting any new applications because the funds have been exhausted. So let's get into all the details. So I want to start out by talking about what the total allocation looks like inside the PPP fund, because this is where a lot of confusion comes from and a lot of people are scratching their head saying, how could we possibly have run out of funding? So I'm going to dive into some things. I'm going to bring up some 2020 information and some 2021 information because the CARES Act, there was leftover funding from the CARES Act, and this could be part of that whole confusion. Now, the original CARES Act brought $349 billion, which ran out in a matter of a few weeks, okay? The trends somewhat repeated itself this year for Draw 2. However, it was on a much smaller scale because Congress reduced the eligibility. They took it from 500 to 500 or fewer employees down to 300 or fewer employees, and they really focused in on smaller businesses to be eligible for the funding. So the trends are similar, but they're just dropped down about 100 on the scale, okay? So I'm going to share a table with you in a moment here. You'll kind of see that similarity. So Congress then next scurried, and within a matter of like 3 days, they sent $320 billion in 2020 to the fund. Now that gives us a total of 2020 CARES Act funding of $669 billion. Now at the start of 2021, approximately $558 billion of that fund had been used up. That left 2020 funding of $111 billion that was left over. So that right there just makes everybody so confused to say, what happened to that $111 billion? There were no reports out that indicated anywhere that this money was returned or moved over to other programs. So all of the reports that are out there today are still suggesting that 111 may still be sitting out there somewhere in limbo. Now let's fast forward into 2021. $284 billion, $284.5 billion came with the Relief Act, and then the American Rescue Plan brought another $7.25 billion, which is a total of $291.75 billion. Now, last week's data, just prior to this whole running out of fund, showed us that approximately $258 billion had been allocated, leaving us with a 2021 total of $33.75 billion that should be left over in the program. Now let's extrapolate this a little bit. Let's just say, that report came out a couple days ago, came out on the 2nd. Fast forward a few days, maybe $4 billion has been used up since then. So let's call it $29.75 billion. Let's just call it $29 billion. It should be left over, okay? So where exactly is that $29 billion? I want to share with you guys some graphs and talk about what the trends look like here. So let's get into that. So before I tell you where you could possibly get a piece of that $29 billion that may still be out there, I want to share with you this graph here, okay? Because I want to talk about what's going on in the program total from the minute it started in 2021, and to really understand if we believe Congress will send additional funds over to support this program going forward, all right? Because if you notice, just looking at this graph here, this data comes straight from the SBA's reports that they put out week over week. This is public data. You could just go on the SBA's website and grab this data. I graph it week over week. I guess I'm just bored. I don't know what else to say about it, but I track this, and you can notice where you can notice in the first 4 weeks that big majority of corporations, those massive corporations, 300 or less, go out and they grab their funds pretty instantaneously. It's like the first thing they do. Okay, so once you get past all that noise and you start to look at the actual trend of all the small business owners that are finally getting a piece of it, you will notice that the popularity of the program is on a decline. Right? That's definitely not a good sign that the popularity of the program is on a decline, because if Congress believes that the program is less popular now, they may not go and refund it. That's just one thing I'm going to point out. Now, on the flip side, I am hearing reports out of Womply that Womply has approximately 1.5 million loans sitting in the queue that are all pre-qualified, of eligible applicants that have yet to be funded. So, will they take that into consideration and understand that, yeah, there's still a 1.5 million that just have not been processed yet? And should we send funding over at that point? It's questionable. Now, not to mention, there's also that bill out there for applying pressure for hashtag retro PPP. Hashtag retro PPP is to get some fairness for everybody who applied with the net formula, and then suddenly the formula changed to gross formula and kind of made those individuals ineligible from adjusting that value if you were a Schedule C filer. So there is legislation out there applying pressure for that fairness. Now, the question is, will Congress send additional funding if they decide to move forward with that legislation? Will they bring those two together so that we can have fairness and additional funding? That's going to be a big question. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me know if you believe that more funding should go out there, and send me those hashtag retro PPPs for everybody out there who was applied with net, still wanting to get their gross. Because if the fund ends and the program dies, hashtag retro PPP also dies with it. If hashtag retro PPP is still something that everybody's trying to support in this big popularity and can get the pressure applied on Congress to get this done, there has to be the opportunity to send additional funds to the program in order to pay for all that retroactive PPP. So it begs the question to know if these two things are going to merge and happen all at once now. So let's talk about where you could go and get yourself a piece of that $29 billion. Okay, I know I'm going to get a ton of comments, everybody saying, why don't you just get to the point, tell me what the SBA insider information was, but I really feel like going through that data and demonstrating for you where the funding should be and how much we believe should be there really helps set up to understand if we need to pressure Congress to get us more funding, all right? So I really just wanted to pass that message to everybody so that we know exactly what's going on inside the PPP program. All right, so the SBA insider information, and this is coming from pretty far up the chain. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly who this is, but it's coming from a pretty high source at the SBA, and they have instructed me to direct viewers of this channel to go check Community Development Financial Institutions. The SBA has reserved funds for community development financial institutions that they have not yet used up. All right, I'm going to explain what they are in just a second. But if you go to a fintech right now, or if you go to like a US bank or a Wells Fargo or some local branch that's SBA approved, they are turned off. Okay, those are big branches. They are turned off. The only place that you can get a PPP fund today, a new loan, and get it approved is at a community development financial institution. Now, it's believed that there's approximately $8 billion sitting there. So this is equivalent to about a week or so, maybe a little longer, depending on how the $8 billion is going to be allocated. But this includes the minority deposit institutions and small lenders. The challenge is finding one, okay? Because it's going to require some hunting of all the viewers, and it's going to require some scheduling to get yourself scheduled in with these institutions in order to get a PPP processed. But I will leave a link in the description of a list of all community development financial institutions, or CDFIs, okay? Just go check the CDFI finder. It's found in the description of this video, and put in your state and you can find yourself right down to your city, whatever your closest city is, you could find one of these CDFI institutions. All right. While you're also in the description, you could check out my crash course on Airbnb. Get yourself into the game with $50 in your pocket, earning an extra $5,000 to $10,000 each and every month. And I also have in the description a whole section on free stuff. Grab yourself free crypto, free sign-on bonuses, and free stocks. I actually use Webull every day because Webull pays me about $2,000 every month in free stocks. I could keep those stocks, I could trade those stocks, or I could cash them in. And all I do is I click 2 buttons and recommend Webull to my friends on Facebook, and they sign up, and I get free stocks. That's going to do it for today, folks. If you need further assistance outside my free content found right here on YouTube, you can find me pinned in the top comment for a one-on-one consultation. Click the link. You can set up a phone call with me. Avoid all of those scammers that are cloning Max, Jason, and myself in all the comments, trying to get you to go to consulting or trying to get you to go to WhatsApp. Avoid them all. They are complete scammers, and we are doing our best to block them all out, but it is so challenging to stop all the scam. All right, so be on the lookout for that as well. If you need to find me, you could find me in the description or pinned in the top comment, and I will reach out to you through my YouTube channel comments, but I'll let you know that it's me. It's challenging, I know, but that's going to do it for today, folks. I wish you all the best, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.